What's up, everyone? And welcome to episode number 75 of the Two Metal for this podcast. I'm Jason, and with me, as always, is Justin.
How's it going, everybody?
And Bobby.
I'm Bobby motherfucking McDermott, and if I had to follow my better judgment always, my life would have been very fucking dull.
Yes, sir. So we're coming at you with a special episode this week.
I'm coming at you for sure.
We're treading new territory. So this week, we're going to be doing our first interview. We sat down this week with the band Announce the Apocalypse out of Tampa, Florida, to talk to them about their new album. Their new music video is due out on January the 5th, followed by the debut of their full-length album on January the 12th.
It's good.
So without further ado, we're going to get into this conversation with Announce the Apocalypse. Immediately following will be our spotlight review of the album.
Hell yeah.
So hang in with us. It's going to be a fun one.
Hell yeah. All right, so this is TMFT here with Announce the Apocalypse. Going to talk about their new album, Experience Machine. How you guys doing?
Killer. Great. How about you?
I'm doing fine. That's Dominic, the guitar player and the vocals. And we got Shawn Loureiro, bass player and producer, correct?
Correct. You got it.
All right. First off, I want to say this. You guys are on Earache Records, correct?
Well, we hooked up with them for this particular record. So, yes,
Right.
They're distributing our current album, Experience Machine, on their distro label. So, yes.
And they treating you well. You know, they're doing good. I mean, they got Entombed, Anal Cunt, Bolt Thrower, some legends, and now they got you.
Yeah,
so
no.
that's good.
I mean, it's cool. They're definitely corresponding as they should. It's not really, we're not getting any like privileges per se with this particular collaboration, right? But they're distributing our material, and if we need any extra help, they'll be there for us.
But just the clout of having that on there, I think is going to help out. You know, it's fucking legit Earache, man. That's some brutal shit.
That's essentially why I wanted to do it, right? Because we've been with the previous album, Nefarious Means. I worked with Adrian from At the Gates, you know, legendary band, and on Earache. So it just kind of like I felt like it was a good idea corresponding with them since that opportunity was there.
Oh, yeah. All right. So, Experience Machine, this is a concept album, correct?
Yes, sir.
And what is the concept? Give me the rep.
Okay, so I got the idea initially from a Joe Rogan podcast. They were talking about virtual reality in the metal world, and they brought up the Experience Machine, and this is a thought experiment that was developed by philosopher Robert Nozick in the 70s, which is essentially an attempt to refute hedonism, which is the pursuit of just pleasure, that life should only be lived for pleasure, nothing more. So that was his attempt with the Experience Machine, this thought experiment. And immediately when I heard that, I just thought of a story, and the creative juices started flowing, and that's what we came up with.
All right. Now, one of the characters in the story is Dr. Draven. Is that a made-up character or is that an actual guy?
Yeah, no, he's made up.
All right. That's a cool fucking name for a character, Dr. Draven.
Yeah. I'm assuming that's a subtle nod to The Crow? Or
you
is
know,
it just
it's not at all. Not at all. Swear to God,
he
not at
wasn't
all.
thinking about that, but I had that in mind. Obviously, Drake.
Yeah.
Bro.
when
I seen the title, that was the first thing I thought of.
Right. I actually, if anything, what's the guy from Disturbed? What's his name?
Oh, Dreamin'?
Yes.
Dreamin'? Yeah.
Yes, I thought of his name more than, and I don't even listen to Disturbed anymore, but just
We
for
don't
some
either.
reason.
Yeah, I get you.
Yeah. But yeah, that type with, I don't know. It came up and the name is cool. It works well.
No,
with
it's a
the
good
story.
solid name, Dr. Draven. That's a good, like, comic book bad guy fucking name type shit. You know, it's fucking rolls off the
Perfect.
tongue. So, you guys self-proclaimed progressive thrash / death metal, or death thrash, as I like to call it. It seems to be the style that's coming out nowadays. Was that a conscious decision to play like that, or just a natural progression of your style?
I think with Nefarious Means, the prior album, I was definitely reaching out more into the progressive side because of the length of the songs. The first song on that album was like 11
About
minutes
10
long.
minutes, yeah.
Right. So naturally, I was listening to a lot of Human, a lot of Death. And at that particular time in my life, I was listening to a lot of Death. And so I think those influences were kind of just seeping into what I was creating. But with Experience Machine, honestly, it was a collaborative effort between the guys. You know, I wrote the majority of the album as far as the music is concerned. However, when I brought the material to the guys, they all contributed everything, you know, whether it was just the arrangement of the material, everything mattered ultimately with the outcome. So what you hear it wasn't really planned, more or less. It was all just
that's y'all's natural sound. That's awesome. Because like I said, it seems to be the new thing coming out of the scene. And I like a death thrash. That's where I'm fucking going with it. Now, Shawn, you're also the producer here. So when you, your job is to make everybody sound good. Now, when you're playing, do you approach the songwriting in the same philosophy of, hey, I got to make this song sound better? Or are you like, fuck that, I'm the bass player, try to keep up, motherfuckers?
It's a good question. Yeah. You know, it was interesting. So, because, you know, as Dominic was mentioning, this was his project for a long time. And so he was looking for other members. And so when I came in, you know, we all have different amounts of experience in the band. We all have played in different bands before. So when I came in, I didn't want to just be like, hey, you know, I have all these ideas, let me do what I want. But I had to kind of prove that I had, you know, vision and ideas, and that I believed in Dominic's vision for his idea of his concept album, you know? So I started slow, kind of working with them, helping with the arranging and with some of the drum parts and all little parts. And I proved that, you know, I have some experience and you know, I have some talent in arranging. So that's really where it started. And then eventually, after doing all this work, I was just like, do you guys mind if I do take the producer credit? They're like, no, man, go for it. Because I mean, we did pre-recordings here at my place just at my house. We did scratch tracks. We did just tons of writing in our studio. And it was such an awesome learning experience because I mean, I don't have obviously any producing credits before this, but I learned so much from the process. I love writing music and arranging and working on it. And I was so grateful that they let me use my talent in that way on this album.
Fuck yeah. So originally you came out of Detroit, and then you had to stop in North Carolina, and now you're representing Tampa. How did you meet the rest of the guys?
So crazy. So yeah, the first ATA is from Detroit. I'm from Detroit.
Right.
So the lineup split in about 2017, 2018 after we released an EP called Riots. And then me and my girlfriend at the time, we moved to California, and that's when the pandemic happened, right? So we went to North Carolina to get away from California when the pandemic was occurring, and I started writing new material, which would be Nefarious Means. And I found Jamie Key. That was the guy that produced. Well, he works with Between the Buried and Me predominantly. That's the guy. Like, and so I found his studio, and I hired Adrian to do the drums. And so that's how I pretty much decided to just I wanted to make an album that I wanted to make, because I didn't do that with the first lineup. I didn't feel like I achieved the right sound or the production. It just wasn't there on that first album. So I wanted to make an album that I was proud of, even if it just meant me doing it by myself, essentially. So that was done in North Carolina, just one song, Outbreak. And then I moved to Tampa for work. So when I moved to Tampa, I finished the album at More Sound. And I recorded the rest of the tracks with Jim Morris, and I actually used Chuck Schuldner's cab too.
There you go. Hell yeah.
Fucking insane. So I finished the album at More Sound, and then eventually I decided I needed a full lineup, because I kept listening to that album, Nefarious Means, and thinking that if this material was live, it would be a fucking hit. You know, it would really resonate with the audience, I think, because I don't know. I feel like thrash metal as a whole just isn't evolving. I mean, I feel like this sound is a little different. Like we have something a little more to offer. So I needed to find more guys, and eventually I did. I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, the addition of Adrian Baptist was a great choice. I think that dude brings a different element. Kind of got some hardcore punk stuff going on there. I mean, double bass all the time is cool, but you know, you want to get some different grooves and stuff in there. And I think he has that flavor. So being here in Tampa, how's Tampa treating you, man? What's the scene like for you here?
Honestly, it's crazy, because playing in Detroit, I did not get that kind of reception with the first ATA lineup, predominantly because Detroit is known for like the post-hardcore scene. Bands like I Prevail, they came out of Detroit. You know, it's a very focused around that particular subgenre of metal. So ATA wasn't really recepted well there, but coming to Tampa, and especially with this new ATA, right, a more developed version of it, we've
More
been
deaths.
really,
That's what we like in Florida. We like the deaths.
yes. So no, I love it. I mean, every time we play, I feel like it's natural, like we're almost at home. And yeah, it's been a
That's
great
awesome.
time.
So doing live shows, you got this concept album. Are you going to do, the from beginning to front or back to front, the whole concept album? Or are you still going to play old stuff like Black and the Rose is a good one, and Purge? I mean, those are good songs. I mean, get out there in the pit for those ones. Or are you just going to do the straight up concept album?
Yeah, no, I would love to, but unfortunately, I feel to do that whole album in one show would take a good hour, with breaks and everything.
Right.
And at this point in our career, we're just not there yet. I mean, I feel like we would need some support. We would have to really plan accordingly. And yeah, I think we're still going to mix it up, essentially, to answer your question. We're going to definitely, the majority of the material will be Experience Machine, but we're probably going to throw some old tracks in there. Yeah.
Well, the reason I bring that up is nowadays all these bands are doing the 20th anniversary of this album. They play the whole album. You guys got a fucking cool album. What, play it now? Like I saw it when it fucking came out. I saw the whole album. But like you said, you need support. So maybe at the end of the year we can figure something out. Set you guys up with a show. You headline it, do the whole concept album. That would be like a draw. You know what I'm saying? Because people want to experience that. I saw them play the whole album. You guys fucking come out of the gate with it.
We talk about that a lot. That would be a dream. I mean, having all the dialogue in between. I do fretless bass on one of the tracks, so being able to do it live would be fun.
Nice.
But in the meantime, people seem to really love songs from the various means as well. Mention and stuff like that. But that goal is definitely, that's a big goal for us is to be able to at least once perform that album from start to finish.
For sure. So on that playing live, what's the song you get the most response out of so far that you've got?
We always start with Experience Machine material. We always start with State of Nihilism, Inset in the Wake. And those two songs consecutively, I think, just resonate. Because I don't really think, when people hear the name Announce the Apocalypse, I don't think they're expecting us to sound the way that we do, right? And so that really generates I think almost like a confused response, but in a positive way, if that makes sense. They're kind of like, what the fuck? This is I wasn't expecting them to sound like this. So to answer your question, I feel like our opener, at least in my opinion, I don't know about Shawn's, but I feel like State of Nihilism really gets shit going.
Yeah,
I could definitely see that.
Yeah. He brings up a good point, because we kind of have a hard time seeing where we fit in with everything, because we're such a mixed genre band. We got elements of thrash and melodic death metal and straight up death metal. So I think people, are just like, what's going on at first, until they kind of get what we're doing. But one of our thrashier songs, Forever the Pariah, I think is going to resonate with a lot of people. Like, they seem to really like that one a lot, because it's one of our faster ones and more concise and all that. I think, audiences really enjoy that one going forward.
And I think Contrived Death is a popular one too, I've noticed. That's off Nefarious Means. It's a very just groovy, like 120 beats per measure song. I feel like that resonates well with the audiences when we play.
Well, when I first seen you, what caught my attention was just the pure vicious, rage coming from you. I was like, man, these guys are fucking pissed. And then you're nailing it. You're not fucking up. You're very, fucking, lost for words here, precise. You know what I'm saying? You're doing some crazy fucking shit that's very angry. You're playing the guitar, you're doing leads, and you're screaming your fucking ass off. And I'm like, God damn, these motherfuckers mean it. So that's always good. I think it was the Monstrosity show is when I seen you guys, right?
Right. And that was actually one of the better shows we played, honestly. I think, first of all, it was in February, so it wasn't too hot, because we opened for Obituary in July. But it was so fucking hot. It was so fucking hot there. I mean, insane. So it was a good show, but just the experience was overwhelming because of the heat. I mean, you could ask anybody there that night.
The Florida metalheads are a miserable bunch of black shirts and fat dudes, long hair. It's hot as fuck out there, man. Play some death metal.
We still get the death metal though.
Speaking of the Monstrosity show, that was cool. What's the favorite band you guys have played with so far, and what's your dream band to play with?
Whoa, good question. Probably Obituary was my favorite because they're just fucking legends, man. I mean, come on.
Right?
Like you had Terry Butler sitting
Fucking
back
A.
there. I mean, you know,
Right.
he was in Death. He was in
Man
Death.
of Death himself. Fucking A.
My favorite bands are Metallica, Slayer, and Death, and probably At the Gates. So, I mean, when you got a guy from Death sitting like just feet away from you, that's fucking cool. Wonderful show. And what do you think, Shawn?
Yeah, I mean, that's how Dom and I first met, was the Truck Tribute show back in December, 2021. So obviously it would be dream to open for Death to All or At the Gates, or a lot of our influences. We're trying to get on like the Cynic show or any kind of proggy or melodic band. I think would be a great fit for us. But like I said, we're such a mixed genre band. I think that one or another song people will find something to be into within the band. Even if they don't like some of the more melodic parts, they might like something heavier, or when we do slow down and do different genres. So we really, it's hard to kind of peg us down because metalheads love like categories. So it's hard to say what genre we are, but I think there's a lot of opportunities for us to open up for a lot of different style bands because we are mixed genre. So,
I mean,
it'd be a full set. You got some thrash band, and then you got you guys, which is thrash death, and then followed up with a death band. That'd be a good set.
Perfect.
I think I would like to open up in a perfect world. I think if we opened up for like maybe Gojira or something like that, I would love that. If that's speaking a lot, but that's honestly, I feel like getting on the bill with them would be fucking dope. We're At the Gates, like Shawn mentioned, something like that. I think I would die happy.
I could totally see the Gojira fans, responding to what you guys do. There's a lot of technical, progressive stuff there that would really, I think, resonate with those guys and girls.
Yeah, I love that band too. I'm not really a fan of much modern metal, but Gojira I do love a lot.
A little flip on the question: who would you want to open for you? In the perfect world, you guys are fucking top fucking build. Who you got opening for you?
Hey, that's a good question, right?
You know what I mean? Like, do you still want Gojira over there?
Oh my God! If we surpass,
who do you want to follow? I do not recommend following Goat Whore. Those dudes are amazing and
sure, yeah,
a lot of energy.
Shawn, you answer that question.
Well, the easy answer is like I like a lot of melodic death metal. So Omni and Fathom and Insomnium and Calma and all these type of bands. I love them. I would love to play a show with them, period. I don't care if they're opening or we're opening, Obscura, I love Obscura. I've seen them a bunch of times, gotten to know some of those, the bassists and some of the other guys. So that would be awesome.
Yeah. You guys want to get in here? I'm just hogging the mic. Sorry, I'm having a good time talking.
Yeah, so I actually had a question kind of about the concept. I want to see if I'm following the story correctly, but I think in general, I think it's essentially the main character beginning, he ends up taking his own life, right? And then his father's distraught. He's approached by Dr. Draven, who gives him the opportunity to go into this simulation, right? Am I correct so far?
Keep going.
Okay. And then it seems, towards the end, I guess Dr. Draven gets murdered, and essentially he's trapped in the simulation at that point. So first I wanted to see if I was kind of following it correctly.
You got about 75 of it right. Yeah, 75%.
Okay.
The first part you did not. So what happens is the album starts with the main character in a rally. He's in front of a president, right, like a leader, and the leader is announcing that he passed this act to ban assault rifles because there's been like this epidemic of mass shootings occurring on top of this plague, that hopefully this act is going to help society get back to order. And this main character is totally nihilistic and he's a cynic. So he responds with state of nihilism, pretty much refuting what that president said, and society pretty much just shuts him out. And he goes home that's in the wake. So he goes home to his girlfriend and confronts her. And that's like the breakup song. He pretty much says, I can't be in a relationship with you. And he's unaware that she's suicidal. So the next song, Dying Words, she kills herself.
Okay.
And then and he wants to be with her. He wants to die with her because he's just so overwhelmed with life and her suicide. And then he meets Dr. Draven sees him while he's at the burial of his girlfriend.
Okay, now I get it. Yeah.
Because Draven's there to see his son that died of suicide, and he witnesses this guy mourning, and it just catches his attention to go to him and like,
that
hey,
makes more sense. Okay.
I want you to come be my subject for this experience machine, you know?
So at the wake, that's the video, and I guess the single. Like, who decides what the single is gonna be? Is that the record label? Is that you guys? Like, why was that song chosen?
Okay. Shawn, you want to do that?
Sure. So, I mean, we've discussed this in the current state of how people consume media, listen to music. We want to obviously do a few singles as much as possible. So, in the wake, we chose because it's a shorter song and it's very succinct and it kind of gets its point across right away. So we thought it would be a good teaser for the album. And so the next one we're releasing is Dying Words along with the video, which I think will help tell the story better when people see the video. And then we're going to do Forever the Pariah, because as I mentioned earlier, I think that one resonates with people. It's a more to the point. It's not as progressive. Some of these numbers we've chosen as to be singles, as you would imagine. So
At the wig is a bit more approachable to the uninitiated. Give them a taste, just a tip.
Yeah,
For sure. Drive the balls deep with I like that. It's a good idea. I just always wondered that, like, how the hell do you pick the fucking single for an album? I didn't know if the record label.
So then he meets Draven. Draven puts him in the machine, and he has the only song that he's essentially plugged into the machine is Without Fear. It's the weirdest song on the album. It's track 8. It's like 2.5 minutes long, and it's just all over the place because he's literally in a fucking world that he doesn't know what to do with it, right? He's famous. He's experienced everything he wanted. And then when he gets unplugged, then Draven tells him that there's riots occurring because regardless of this act that was passed, there was a mass shooting that occurred at an elementary school, killed, I think, 11 kids. And now riots are occurring. So, and like you mentioned, yes, eventually he gets put back in the machine, in the simulation, and he's in there for eternity, so to speak.
Yeah. And the irony being that he ended up trapped in a simulation by the very thing that he was kind of protesting against to begin with, because the Dr. Draven gets killed in a shooting.
Yes.
So
yes, exactly. Right. And that's when you hear the end of the album, there's these noises.
That's a far out ending. I like the ending. It's a good thing.
Yeah, there's these noises and it's almost it's like indicative of him in a void, and right, like those are the noises he heard when the machine was malfunctioning, right? And he's going to continue hearing those fucking noises regardless of where he is. If he's in a void, in the afterlife, wherever, those noises are going to keep happening.
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's got like the sci-fi theme, and then the artwork on the album and stuff is pretty cool. I guess that's the experience machine on the cover. Who came up with that? Is that you guys doing that, or you got
No, I have a guy. I think he's from Mexico. His name is Raga, and it's called Luciferian War Graphics. He's an amazing designer. He did the cover for Nefarious Means. And that actually, this cover was done in 2022, a long time ago.
You just had to sit on it. It's terrible. Yeah, that's a cool fucking cover though. I like it. Sci-fi stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And again, like you said, Announce the Apocalypse kind of puts you in a frame of mind, and then you see that cover, puts you in a different one, experience machine, and then you hear the music, and then, it's a good deal. I like that.
It brings up a
full of surprises.
Oh, I wanted to mention earlier, that's why I think the music came out kind of more proggy than we are intending to, just because we wanted to write music that helped with the story. You know what I mean? The story kind of idea came early on. And so we weren't worried about any genres or categories. We just wrote stuff that fits the narrative, the story.
Yeah.
And that's exactly why we did it.
Yeah. And you guys totally captured that. I mean, because even with, I've only got to spin the album twice so far, so you don't catch everything lyrically, obviously. But you guys do an incredible job of telling that story with the music. I mean, you can feel the mood change. There's certain songs where it's really ominous, and I just think you guys did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
When you go into writing a concept album, like, do you write the songs in order? Like, this is the first song, we write that chunk. Now, this is the next song. It's got to sound like this, or like, how does that work?
Yeah, the first song I wrote was definitely State of Nihilism, which is the second song on the album, but it's really the first full song with the band. And was it done consecutively? Pretty much. I couldn't tell you. I got asked that question yesterday. How were the songs written? I really don't have a straight answer for that. Honestly, I just had the concept for every song and it just kind of came about. It kind of formed naturally. And I'm really inspired by Pink Floyd. That was probably one of my biggest inspirations. And The Wall definitely inspired me creating this album a lot. Just how, like, when you listen to that record, no two songs sound the same. Just like how Shawn was mentioning, every song has a purpose, for that particular point in the story. And that's the same approach I took with this album.
Yeah. Well, it is a concept album. I guess it's supposed to be listened, back to front. But you got songs that stand on their own. That's what I was saying. Like, I didn't know if you just wrote like song number 8, like just had to throw it in the end or something. That's neat that it was written somewhat consecutively.
That's what I tried to put into the music. So, and on the producer side, I wanted. I thought that was obviously very important to have songs that will stand on their own, that you can use as singles or play live, that would fit. Obviously you want to be able to hear the album, start to finish, but you want, it was important to have a few songs that were, more to the point and that are more accessible within that, but still telling the story. So that was a bit of a challenge, but like I said, I love arranging and I love working with these guys, to create this,
Oh, yeah.
And Bobby, to go off what you said, so 2 songs off the album were essentially written by Kelly, our guitar player, musically. And those were Upon the Riots and Simulation Evermore, the 2 last songs on the album. And I pretty much went to Kelly and I had the story mapped out. And I told him, give me the most aggressive song you can write. And that was for Upon the Riots. And that's pretty much what he came back with. And I was like, there you go. I mean, it works for me. And Simulation, I gave him the story and he came up with the music for that. So that was his effort to this whole collaboration, those 2 songs musically.
That's interesting. You're not just like, I got this bag of riffs and let's see if we can put it together and then we'll put a story on there. No, you got the idea, the concept, and then you build upon that. And that seems like the smarter route.
It's very concise.
You got some questions there.
You pretty much said everything that I was going to ask.
Sorry. Don't give me the microphone. I'll yammer all goddamn day. What is there?
So, like, go back to what you said about the prog thing. I feel like it is relevant in the scene. However, I feel a lot of bands use the term prog without actually implementing prog in their music, right? Because a lot of days in modern metal, prog is just literally fucking tuning your guitar down and doing chugs over and over, and that's considered prog. There's really no innovation, because that's what prog is about. It's about innovation and doing these weird whatever, just doing something that hasn't been done, right? Like experimenting, truly experimenting, and to achieve something great. And I feel when that term is used so loosely now, like prog, this is fucking, it's not prog, you know what I mean? So
dude.
I don't know. I feel like we did achieve, like with this record, when we say we're a progressive band, yes, this album definitely has progressive elements.
Yes, it was many times I was listening to it where I was surprised where it went, and I was like, cool. Like, kind of the changes coming up. What are we going to do? And then it's just these left hooks everywhere. All of a sudden you're doing cool bass stuff. You're like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? You got
right.
Like, here's the solo. And it was just like a little quick little tasty lead. And then the solo's later. I'm like, these guys are fucking killing it. Changing up the drums. Like I said, it wasn't just nonstop double bass. He's doing some cool fucking shit on the toms. That's progressive fucking death thrash.
Takes you on a ride, man.
Adrian worked his ass off in the studio. I mean, all the guys did. I was there, as producer, had to be there every single day working with them. But yeah, Adrian really worked hard. Dom, all the guys, we really, put a lot of work into making the songs as finished as we could before we went to the studio. Cause you're paying up the ass when you're in a studio. You want to get in there, get it done. So you have, so you feel comfortable and so you can put your best performance forth. So we worked really hard on writing those songs and getting them as tight as they could before we went to the studio. But even then, you go into the studio and you got nerves and you got other stuff going on in your life. So, yeah, it was quite a great learning experience. I really enjoyed being in the studio. So.
And he's a fucking Nazi, I'll tell you. I mean, like
Uh-oh.
he was on us, so we had to have our shit together because I didn't have a producer on any of the other ATA records. So having Shawn there was definitely a good thing. It was challenging, and we had to be precise.
How incredibly tight you guys sound. How often do you guys jam? Like, how often do you practice?
During Experience Machine, it was literally once a week for 3 hours. We had 3-hour sessions, and our sessions are pretty intense because we're never late. We go in there and we kind of I'd say we take maybe 15-minute breaks. So essentially for 3 hours, it's all about the music.
Cranking it out. Hell yeah. And then you guys are in other bands too, so I guess that takes up a little bit of time. Like Adrian's in like 72 fucking bands, right?
100%, yeah.
So I guess that takes up.
I'm not. Fuck. This is my only project, but yes, me and Shawn has other things too. But I'm the only guy that this is all I can. That's all I have time for, honestly. So.
Oh yeah. What is the best way fans can support this band?
Well, we just launched the Bandcamp page for Experience Machine. So that's sick. We have pre-orders right now. We got these 6-panel digipacks. So you get the full album. And if you do the pre-order now, you get In the Wake for free. So that single is accessible. So preferably that is the best way. You can get our shirts there, the CDs and the digital album all through our Bandcamp page right now.
All right.
What are your social medias? Promote your social media.
So we predominantly use Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Those 3 are the main ones. All under Announce the Apocalypse, you'll find us.
And you guys got merch? You said you got shirts and stickers and shit, right?
Yeah, we got shirts, CDs, and that's it for the time being. But yeah.
That's all you need, shirts and CDs.
So what's 2024 looking like for you guys? Do you guys have shows planned, tours? What's it looking like? Because this looks like it's going to be a big album for you guys.
Yeah, I think you guys are going to blow up.
Thank you. So yes, we do have shows coming up. We managed to book a show immediately after the release. The release is on the 12th. So we have a show on the 13th in Tampa, and it's actually at the Pegasus Lounge. Have you guys heard of that place?
Yeah, Pegasus Lounge.
Right? Yeah. So we played there before, and that show looks like that show looks like it's going to be pretty good. And then the 26th, we're playing at Cage Brewing in St. Pete.
Nice.
And then February 10th, we're in Lakeland at St. Leo's, I believe.
Whoa.
Right here with
You're
us.
in our neck of the woods. All right.
Okay, fuck yeah. Yeah. So we'll be there February 10th. And then as far as the tour is concerned, I want to get us on some festivals, honestly.
Right.
Like, I really think, because, yeah, a tour would be great, but I feel like in order for us to be on a tour, we need to be supporting somebody, somebody that has some clout, because if we were to go on tour right now, it probably wouldn't be a good, like, very successful, so like,
right.
So therefore, I think putting us on some festivals and getting the name, more exposure to larger audiences and everything makes more sense than us going on a tour and spending money, because we're investing a lot of our own funds into ads, like this music video, to generate more views and algorithms and everything. We're really trying to utilize. Yeah, we're trying to utilize the web to get more exposure than go on a tour. So
that makes sense, and probably make a lot of connections as well, through being on those festivals.
Yeah, and hopefully we can help with the exposure bit there too. And definitely want to keep up with you guys throughout the year with shows and stuff, and see how the fans are progressing and whatnot. Want to touch back and see what songs are the hits and stuff.
Yeah, no, I feel like definitely we're starting to definitely get known around the Tampa scene. So that's helping, definitely.
So yeah, by all means, send us all anytime you're going to do a show. If you're just going to Denny's, all 4 of you to have some fucking pancakes, let us know. We'll pimp that shit. We'll let everybody know.
Yeah.
We'll try to get out there. Also, I'd mentioned if we can get a CD from you guys signed, we'll raffle that off.
100%.
We got 17 countries, I think we're in. We might get you overseas.
I love it. Okay. Yep.
stuff like that. Any other questions you guys, fellas? You got a final message you want to leave with the fans, or just some shit talking? Also, give a shout out to the rest of the guys in the band. Let's get those names out there. Adrian Baptist.
For sure. Shout out to Kelly Burns. He's the other guitar player, fucking shredder. Just insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I honestly think he's better than me.
That's always good.
Insane. I love the guy. And then, Adrian Baptist, of course, on drums. He really took this shit to the next level. An amazing guy. I want to bring that up too. The chemistry between the four of us, everything is so balanced. I mean, that's why this album happens so fluidly. There's no fucking ego. We just go in there like family, and the results speak for itself.
Oh, yeah. How about you, Shawn? You got any shout outs you want to give out there?
Sure. I'm just, like I said, appreciative of the other guys in the band for letting me to do my thing, helping to arrange and giving me space to play some bass a little bit, because I mean, just, it's great being a bassist, being able to be heard and to have some space to write some interesting lines is a dream come true. So working with the guys is great. I'm grateful to the other bands we play with here in Tampa. They've been very supportive of us. So yeah, we're looking forward to an awesome 2024.
And I want to give a shout out to my girlfriend in New York right now.
There you go.
Excellent. That's all I got to say. Excellent.
And one last final thing, you guys want to give a message to the fans before we wrap this up?
Look, if you're into fucking thrash, death, Metallica, Slayer, whatever, just fucking support the scene. Let's get metal back on track. Pick up this fucking album. Let's do this shit. Experience Machine, January 12th.
There you go. Experience Machine, January 12th. Announce the Apocalypse. It's just going to fucking blow up. This is a badass album.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I don't like a lot of stuff,
No, Bobby's a hard person to please, so that's definitely high praise coming from him. He's a tough one.
That's insane. I love it. Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. That was fucking cool. I appreciate you guys giving us the opportunity to do. You busted our cherry on interviewing bands. So hopefully this fucking takes off, for everybody, if we can interview other bands, we're always going to come reference you guys. You set the bar for a cool interview and a cool fucking album to review.
Definitely.
It kind of sucks for other bands coming
up. Yeah, I mean, they got to put their shit.
They're going to have to bring it.
All right.
Just a couple of boring tech things real quick. When you guys log off, when you hit the leave session button, make sure you wait until it finishes uploading before you close out of the browser.
Okay.
Yeah, that way we get...
So right now, I can't hit the leave session. Will it generate once somebody stops the recording?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Oh, and then I was just going to ask, because I don't know if we specifically talked about it. If we do release this in video form, are you guys cool with that? Or
for sure.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Currently, we're, we just do the audio stuff, but we're getting ready to move into the video now. So
yeah, I'm totally. I don't know about Shawn if he wants a space out there.
Nah, it's a secret. No, perfect. No, you're good.
And just one other thing I'd asked you before, when we do these shows, we often put some of the music in there underneath here and there. You guys are cool with us using some sound bites and stuff from the albums?
100%.
Yeah, you're going to do what he was saying right throughout. So
yeah, give them a little taste of what the hell's going on and shit,
For sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, all right, man. I guess if there's any other things we need to take care of, we can contact you and get a hold of it. I think everything got recorded pretty well.
Yeah.
And you said you got a show, what is it, the 13th of January?
Yeah, that's the first one.
It was in St. Pete.
No, that's in Tampa, right?
No,
13th in Tampa.
Tampa's the 13th, St. Pete is 26th.
And then Lakeland on the 10th of February.
Right.
Got it.
All right. Well, like I said, keep us informed with that. We'll try to get out there. Like I said, trying to get some equipment to do some out in the field work. It'd be cool to get you guys right after you did a show. You're all fucking pumped up and shit and probably crazy talking. Get another little quick interview. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get some of the other guys in there too, like Kelly and Adrian and whatnot.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Yeah.
All right. Cool. So anything else? We all good?
I think we're good. Thank you guys once again.
Enjoy your night. Enjoy your end of the year. Be safe out there.
Happy New Year.
And get ready for this year because you guys are going to fucking take off, man. You got a good fucking thing here.
Killer album.
All right. We ain't done a spotlight in a fucking while. but now we got a cool fucking album to do. We got the band interview. This is the album we were talking about. Announce the Apocalypse Experience Machine. 13 songs, 49 minutes of progressive thrash / death metal from Tampa fucking Florida. This is their third album. The lineup is Dominic, Ryan, Gabriel on guitar and vocals, Kelly Burns on guitar, Shawn Loureiro on bass, and we got Adrian Baptist behind the drum kit. This is a concept album, focuses on a broken man in a hateful world on the brink of war who finds a chance of escape from a mysterious doctor. So let's get into it. Starts off with After the Plague. It's a cool intro track. Starts off with some thunder and rain. Not sure if that was a nod to Tampa, because we got nothing but fucking swamp ass around here, but that was a cool little fucking thing. Then some ominous guitars come in with some spoken word stuff underneath. Has a nice fade out, a brief pause before the second track kicks in, and Dominic says, "What's the fucking point?" Then, State of Nihilism kicks you right in the fucking teeth. Vicious, thrashy riffs with rage-fueled vocals, a shredder of a solo, Adrian making his presence felt on a pummeling drum attack, and you can hear the bass, which is awesome because Shawn is doing some really cool shit. These guys definitely leveled up, and they waste no time showing it. Great start to the record. What do you guys think?
Yeah, man, it kicks right into the deaths with the State of Nihilism and the harsh vocals, fast-paced demon riffing, complete annihilation of the drum kit, cool solo, spoken word returns later on. Killer way to open the album.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, they go from thrash to death metal to groove all in the same song. Beautiful fucking guitar solo right before they bring back the verse. And the drum sounds are really cool on here. Very machine-like, which really fits the vibe of the album, I think.
Precise and tight, hell yeah. In the Wake is next. This one gets more into the deaths with some really cool choppy staccato bits. You know, I like that shit. That bookend is sweet little lead, and then it gets into a slower groove with a solo that sounds like he's finger tapping his hate into somebody's fucking skull. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, this is the lead single. It's up on Spotify right now. There's so many layers to this with the riffs and the solo and the drums changing up and the fills. Really solid single to lead the album.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, man, they go right for the throat on this one, just right out of the gate. And they really capture that feeling of hopelessness that they're trying to tell in the story here. And they're able to do it not just lyrically, but through the music as well. You get that feeling of a man that's just completely given up hope. And the solo's really cool here. I like the way it's a little bit playful at the beginning, and then it gets more intense as it goes. And then that riff that they use to bring it back to the verse is just bad as fuck.
Yeah, good stuff. Dying Words is next. This is the one that has the video, which is pretty cool. It's about a dude struggling with some heavy situation life as adult, mixed with scenes of bands rocking out. Flashing lights warnings for all my photosensitive peoples out there, but it's pretty cool. Check that out. The song itself starts off with cool effects flavored bass. The pace slows down a bit, but the intensity remains with the vocals, which is a clean baritone with a more spoken word talk singing type of attack. But underneath, he's doubling up with his usual angry vocals, which sounds really fucking cool. I like when they do shit like that. Frank Zappa's ZZ Top and Clutch are notorious for that technique. Another smooth-ass solo and a nice clean stop. This is probably a bit more approachable for the uninitiated, some of our soft-eared listeners. Justin, what do you think of this song, and did you check out the video?
I did check out the video, which will be released on January 5th. So when you hear this, it might not be out yet, but it will be up on YouTube. The gunshot leading into this track and the ominous bass riff just has such a heavy feel to it. And as you mentioned, the vocals very different. It sort of reminded me of Randy Blythe on the song King Me, if anybody's familiar with that. It's more melodic than you hear on the rest of the album, but it is layered with a faint, harsh scream behind it. Lyrically, very dark, dealing with suicide, really killer solo in here. I dig this track.
Oh, yeah, man. I felt like this one, it fits the vibe of what they were trying to do. It's really slow, kind of doomy riffing starting out. A little bit typo sounding here and there, which gives it a really dark feel overall. And like Justin said, it is dealing with some dark subject matter. So kind of trigger warning there if that's something that upsets you. But yeah, the solo you guys mentioned here, just ominous. That's the only way I can describe it.
Just dripping with character. Up next, we got At the Burial. We get some more rain and some melancholy clean guitar work with a somber lead over it, and just a big old scoop of emotion. Makes me think of when Martin Riggs goes to visit his wife's grave. Y'all some sad song ballad lovers? What do you think of that one?
Yeah, at the burial, it's got rain falling again. There's acoustic opening mixed with an electric solo. It's very calming after the last track we just heard.
My man with the fucking Lethal Weapon reference here out of nowhere.
Don't make it think of that with the rain.
Nah, but, I mean, now it does. That's crazy that you brought that up. But yeah, man, beautiful instrumental. They perfectly captured, what it's like to mourn the loss of a loved one. When you can make somebody feel something through just the music, that's incredible.
I mean, you know me, I'm not lyric guy. I'm just listening to the song and I'm picturing Martin Riggs at his fucking wife's grave in the rain. Like I got it.
You got exactly what they were trying to convey.
Hell yeah. Next we got Without Purpose. I like that the bass player is the one using the effects in this band. That's cool. This was kind of like a little skit intermission type thing. It was a pretty cool idea.
Yeah, it's that deep bass riff into some spoken word that continues the story leading into the next track.
Yeah, Dr. Draven, which is a cool fucking name. I like this one a lot. It's kind of got a punk rock skank to it. Adrian adding that hardcore flavor. Definitely a standout on the album.
Oh, yeah. Super thrashy goodness on this one. Definitely one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, there's some two-stepping once it gets going. It's a different vibe from the front half of the album. It's fast, almost kind of a happy punk style riff at times, more cool guitar work throughout this track. Another good one.
Fuck yeah. An Experienced Machine, the title track. So I've said before, I prefer my title tracks being the beginning of the record. That's where I think it should go. But with a concept album, if it's done right, the middle is a good place for it. The title track should be the best song on the album, or at the very least, a solid representation of what's going on. They fucking nailed it. Slow, epic build-up with some cool drumming, then it gets into a fucking brutal death grind that smooths out into a sick groove. Progressive death thrash indeed. Great title track and appropriately placed. If you're uninitiated, this is the fucking one you should check out. If you're like, I don't know if I'm gonna like these, check out the title track, Experienced Machine.
It's right in the middle of the album too, man. The opening riff is killer, and then there's more ear candy from Kelly and Dominic on guitar. But honestly, man, Adrian comes in on the drums. Don't sleep on him either. He's fucking crushing it.
Adds that extra element.
He's definitely working overtime here. This is a great title track.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Bobby kind of hit on it. The rest of the album, leading up to this point, it's all been kind of building to this. Mm-hmm. And all of that was kind of the prequel leading up to what's going on at this point in the story, which is why the song was placed here. I think it's perfectly placed. Yeah, Kelly and Dominic, they know how to really tell a story through the guitar work. Pretty amazing. Also, I felt some black metal influence on this one, which kind of added to that dark vibe.
Sometimes his vocal gets a little black metal, but it's not the screechy nastiness. It's a cleaner sound, a good sound.
But it's like a concentrated dish of the album. Like he's got the slower beginning, gets into some brutal shit, and it progresses. That's what the fucking album's doing. Fucking just well done title track. Good job.
Sure.
Then we get to Return to a Broken Reality. After the build-up, the riff that kicks in reminded me of like some older Megadeth, which is always cool. Then we get some nice arpeggio work. Good job there. That brings us to a battle zone. She gets into some cool-ass deaths. Really badass riffs at the end of this one.
You skip it Without Fear, man. There's a little bass riff near the end of that gets a bounce and groove going on that. But then Return to a Broken Reality is more spoken word, talking about a mass shooting. I love the way they keep building into the tracks with the guitars. I'm a sucker for that. Yeah. Chuggy, cool-ass riffing throughout this one.
Yeah, sorry about that. Without Fear was actually my favorite fucking track. It starts with delicious sludgy riffing, then it gets a killer groove with some cool stops. Always like that. Snarly solo, some interesting bass stuff out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
And that little chunk of technical awesomeness at the end. Yeah, that was my favorite one. Sorry, I skipped over that. I'm an idiot.
Standout track on the bass for sure for me.
Yeah, like out of nowhere.
And you skipped it, Bobby.
It got to the end. I was like, oh, man, yeah.
I got some bad finger
Some tasty bass playing right here.
Yeah.
Man. All right, so now we're back on track with Forever the Pariah. Mm-hmm. This is that's the one for the pit.
Yep.
This one goes straight for your fucking throat. Furious piss and vinegar. Leans just a touch into the groove metal, but mostly skink and deaths. Definitely the pit song.
Yeah, they're bringing back that Demon Deaths, Open the Fucking Pit. Those drums from Adrian have such a huge sound to them, and then the chorus also has a massive sound to match. This one's going to play great live.
Fuck,
yeah, I think this was Dominic's shining moment on the vocals.
Yeah.
Just fucking vicious here. Just raw emotion, man. Like, I could just feel it like he was part of the story. Like, it was fucking great, man.
Oh, yeah. Upon the Riots. Killer choppy opening. Cool tom work from Adrian. This one kind of had like a late 90s style grooves to it, man. What'd you think of this shit?
It opens with like a riot going on. You hear a crowd, and then you get some quick, nasty riffing, high energy track. It's one of my favorites on the album.
There you go.
Yeah, this one stood out lyrically. We are not civil anymore. Some things in life you can't forget. Take back your empty words. Wallow in your lies. Take back your brave new world. Watch it fall through our eyes.
Yeah, that's some fucking heavy shit.
Yeah, man.
And then Simulation Evermore. This is how you fucking close it. This could have been the title track. I thought that's how good the fucking song is. An epic send-off full of hate, awesome riffs, bit of a dropout in the middle there with some tasty leads and sweet bass, and a few more bites of that super cool riff sandwich we've been eating all fucking album, in case you hadn't had enough, and a badass fucking cool tripped out fade out. Great closer to an outstanding album.
More cool demon riffs, blast beats, heavy as shit. And then, as you mentioned, it drops off into this like blissful guitar before it comes right back around to smash you in the face with a nice solo. That's how you close an album. Good shit.
Yeah, man. This is a strange comparison, and I don't know what the guys would think about this. But Guns N' Roses November Rain vibes as far as the the leads on this.
Okay.
All right,
It's just
I'm
the
with you.
way that they captured that kind of like, just dreary kind of hopelessness. And, we touched on it in the interview, but the underlying concept here, which we kind of got the full story of, but it does wrap up with Simulation Evermore, which is where the main character in this story becomes trapped in the simulation after Dr. Draven is murdered. And I think when you look at that final track there and you look at it, it kind of wraps up the story, but it doesn't wrap up the story, if you know what I mean. Like it leaves you in limbo just like the main character is. So
Yeah.
I think that was a really nice way to close it out. I wasn't super familiar with this band prior to this. I remember checking out some of their stuff after Bobby saw them live, but I think that they've really managed to craft a really fresh sound, which is really difficult to do given the current landscape of heavy metal. A lot of bands are starting to sound the same and blend together. They're really standing out here with what they've got going on. There's a blend of melodic death metal, thrash, a little groove, a healthy dose of face-melting solos. On top of that, I was completely captivated by the story that was being told throughout this album. So much so that I would get distracted by the music because of the story, and I'd get distracted by the story because of the music. So I think that they've, kind of found a way to get us captivated in two different ways, which is pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited for everyone to hear this album, and I'm super excited to see where the band is headed. This album was really awesome way to start out the new year. I had no idea what to expect, and I was quite honestly blown away. Announced the Apocalypse with their album Experience Machine is a 5 out of 6 upside down pentagrams for me.
All right, get some.
Yeah, man. So much like you, I had heard a couple of songs, but for whatever reason, I didn't go back. It was no fault of the band. It just is what it is. But holy shit, this is really fucking good. This is a very well thought out and put together album. It's very cohesive. Lots of spoken word sections to start and end the tracks that keep that concept and the story going. Layer upon layer with the guitars. Cool drum arrangements. Lyrically relevant and heavy. It gets more interesting the more you listen, and each time you listen, you notice something new. Everything is top notch here. It's absolutely killer album. Do not sleep on this. I actually give it a 6 out of 6.
Hey, get some of that.
We're going to talk about this album at the end of the year again. I love this album.
Damn, fucking
I
A.
absolutely love this album.
You don't give us-
ATA, guys, if you were listening, Justin does not give fucking sixes. This
No.
is a high honor.
Fucking A.
This
Good
is
job.
this is good shit.
Hell yeah. Now, I like their old stuff. That's how I fucking found out about these guys. But this album blows that shit out of the fucking water. Like, it's incredible. Everything is improved. Everyone's clean in the mix. The maturity level of the song crafting is fucking incredible. Bringing in Adrian on the Thunder Tubs was a great idea. He's got better fills and cooler beats and adds an element of hardcore punk to their sound, which is fucking needed. The use of clean vocals and spoken word stuff worked really well with this concept album. The flow of the album is killer from beginning to end. While this is a concept album, there's songs on here you can fucking listen to on their own. They still fucking work. Just a lot of badass shit. This thing is dripping with emotion and personality. These guys poured their fucking hearts into this, and you can hear it. Well thought out, beautifully executed. I myself could do without the sad emotional bits because I'm a cold-hearted motherfucker. What are you going to do? But I highly recommend the new album from Announce the Apocalypse, The Experience Machine. It's a solid 5 upside-down pentagrams. Check that shit out. And if you're local, go see these fucks, man. They crush it live.
Yep.
Shout out to Dominic, Kelly, Adrian, Shawn. Good fucking job.
Great job, guys. It was a killer album.
Fuck yeah.